Across the GTA, listings are up 15%, but in Aurora, they have surged to 167% in the last 2 years, from 78 listings to 208. And most buyers have no idea what that means for their negotiation power right now. I'm going to break down exactly what's happening in Newmarket and Aurora this February, and the real numbers, not the headlines, and give you 3 negotiation strategies that are saving buyers tens of thousands of dollars in this market right now. The third one, most agents will not even bring it up. I've been working in this market for 15 years, and I have not seen leverage like this since 2018. Let me show you why. February 2026, we are firmly into a buyer's market across the York region, with over 7 months of inventory, sales down nearly 20% from last year. Average price in the GTA is around $973,000. What that actually means for you is time. Time to do a proper home inspection, time to negotiate, time to think. 2 years ago, none of that was on the table. It is now. And the one number every family moving into the York region needs to factor into their budget this year is property taxes. They are going up, but not by the same amount everywhere in the region. York region approved 3.28% regional increase. That's about $129 for every average home. That money is going to 150 new police officers, rapid transit infrastructure, and a York University School of Medicine being built right here in our backyard. That's not a tax grab. That is a community investing in itself. But here's where it gets specific. In Aurora, that regional increase is combined with a 2.2 local increase. So the real number is about $186 for each residential home this year. That extra money is funding the Yonge Street downtown redesign and new community trails that protect your long-term investment value. In Newmarket, you are looking at about a $207 increase, and that is the budget behind the Mulock Park opening this year. When we start to look at Bradford, the number is much higher. It's around $334, but Bradford is in Simcoe County, and that is a different levy structure entirely and worth a separate conversation. The point isn't that taxes are going up. The point is that every dollar has a project behind it. And when you are comparing communities, you need to look at what you are actually buying with that money, not just what you get in your new home. Beyond the price, there's something larger happening in York region that most people are not paying attention to. The Bradford bypass core construction is officially starting this year. Mulock Park in Newmarket is over 80% complete and is on track to open mid-2026. They are long-term investments in the community that have been in the making for years. The quiet moments are almost always when the smartest buys happen. Not because the price is low, because the noise is low and you can finally see with clarity. Right now, Newmarket and Aurora are actually moving in totally different directions, which matters a lot depending on what your needs are. Let me show you what I mean. Newmarket right now, prices are settling around $975,000 as the median mark. You can finally get into a larger home without a bidding war. Sales for January were up 10.8%. The market is moving. It's just moving differently than it was. Strategy is the key. Sellers are conceding in this market 3 to 4% off list price. Inventory is sitting around 180 to 244 listings. Sales to listing ratio is 32 to 33%. That is balance leaning, and that's actually the healthiest it's been in years. In Aurora, there is a completely different story. One number that stood out to me when I saw it. Aurora right now is where the real reset is happening. 208 active listings, 27 sales happened last month. Sales to new listing ratio is between 13 and 20%. That's a firm buyer's market. The median sale is closing at $50,900 below asking. Average days on market have climbed to 51. Quality family homes in established school zones are still holding their value better than the broader Aurora market. Location in Aurora still matters enormously, but the gap between what sellers are asking and what buyers are paying has never been wider. And that gap is your opportunity. Quick question, drop in the comments right now. Are you looking in Newmarket or Aurora? I can tell you specifically what I'm seeing on your street. Now, stay with me because there are 3 moves that are turning this market into $10,000 to a $15,000 advantage for buyers right now. And most people watching this are not using any of them. I call it the 3 leverage points. Leverage 1, let's call it the repair credit. With inventory at a 7-month high, homes are sitting 37 to 43 days on the market. Sellers are terrified their listings are going to go stale. So here's the move. If your inspection turns up an aging HVAC or a roof near the end of its life, don't just ask the sellers to fix it. Ask for a closing cost credit instead. Now, this is interesting because we're seeing sellers concede that $10,000 to $15,000 just to keep the deal alive. That keeps your cash in your pocket. You don't have to leverage it. At closing, that means the work and the product you get is on your terms, not the cheapest contract or product the seller can find. And I've seen it save clients $15,000 in a single deal. But the second one protects you from something most first-time home buyers do not know is a risk. Leverage 2, let's call it the appraisal clause. With average prices down 6.5% year over year and 45% of sales are first-time home buyers in this market. Leverage 1, the appraisal gap are starting to show up more than people are realizing. Here's what that means in real terms, okay? You have agreed to pay $975,000 for this lovely starter home. The bank says it's only worth $950,000. Without protection, you as a buyer are responsible to cover that extra $25,000 gap out of your own pocket. So if we include an appraisal clause in your offer and the seller has to bridge the gap or drop the price to match, that one clause protects your entire down payment and your deal. That's your appraisal protection. Now, remember at the top I said that there was one strategy that most agents will not bring up? This is it. It's where the largest discounts are hiding. I call it leverage point 3, the stale listing strategy. In Aurora right now, a typical sale is closing 4 to 5% under asking. The sales to new listing ratio is sitting just at 32%, meaning nearly 70% of homes aren't selling in the first month. So I have my clients focus on those listings that have been on the market for 40 to 60 days. These sellers have already tested the market. They know their home isn't moving at the current price. They are the most motivated sellers in the marketplace right now. A home sitting past 30 days is often legible for an offer 5% below asking with full conditions. And the seller does not feel as if you are lowballing it. They're feeling like it's an offer on the table. You're solving their problem. They want out and they want to sell their property and you're giving them a way out. At the same time, you're getting more for less. Those 3 moves alone can shift a deal by $15,000 to $50,000 in your favor as a buyer. And most buyers in this market are not using any of them. I'm not going to sit here and tell you where the bottom is in our current market. Nobody can do that honestly. What I can do is make sure that when your family decides to make that move, you are protected with the right data, the right terms, and a plan that actually makes sense for your specific situation. If you want to look at the actual sales data for your street, not York Region broadly, your street, my contact information's in the description. Let's just have a conversation and see what the numbers actually say for you. And if this helps, hit subscribe because next week's numbers could change your timeline. Bye for now.